Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Need a roof? Call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and On Fire Athletes, the platform powered by GameCoin. Thanks for being here, y'all. Appreciate everybody as always. Just a moment ago on the NFL Network morning show, is NFL The Insiders, whatever they call it. Ian Rappaport, is it Wicked Football? Hang on. I'll tell you right now. Anyway, Ian Rappaport reporting that Kellen Moore, the deal will be finalized today. Could be and announced as quickly as Wednesday. So deal finalized Tuesday with Kellen Moore, announced Wednesday. So that's how this is all going to go down. Apparently, according to Rappaport, finalized Tuesday, announced Wednesday. And Saints will have the new head coach. So any fear of hang-ups, roadblocks, anything like that, apparently doubling or tripling someone's salary kind of helps work through all that and potential objections. So getting there to the finish line of this long process where Dennis Allen was fired, after a 2-7 start. It's kind of doing that math randomly in my head. I was trying to remember the day he was fired because it was in October, wasn't it? Was fired. Oh, it was November 4th. So November 4th. So 3 months. I mean, it's a long process, man. From his firing to having a new coach. But here we are. And looks like it'll be Kellen Moore. And then you start to work on everything else. You had to get the coach in place. Then the next most important thing, obviously, is what do you do with Derek Carr? Is Derek Carr back? Do you cut and move on? I think that's a huge part of this. That's the single biggest thing they got to decide, because ultimately, if Derek Carr's back, he'll give you the best chance in 2025 to win something. Probably go 7-10, 8-9, or you cut Carr, you start to reset your cap. You play Rattler, Hayner, or some veteran who's not very good, and you win 4 or 5 games again. You pick in the top 10 and get your franchise quarterback next year, which is what I would like to see them do. All right. Smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. We appreciate you all for being here with us. The other thing, if you missed it yesterday, it is today's Locked On LSU is live. And kind of hit some of the high points of my conversation with Will Helmers from AFR yesterday. I think I'm going to have Will on regularly. He said he's open to it, and he's finished baseball and living in Baton Rouge, and as I understand it, hunting and fishing a lot. So he's got some time. He's following the baseball program, so I figured, all right. Those guys, we've had a lot of success over the years with guys like that who their playing careers are just finished, and coming on the show because they have a lot of awareness of the team because they know a lot of those guys. So I think that could be really good, and we'll look forward to that. If you missed that convo, Okay. All right. I got that done. Sorry. Okay, let's say some good mornings here. Fire away. You know the drill. Anything about anything. Kelly Gross, Devin Kelly, Leon Williams, Bubba Smith, Jason H., Dale, good morning. Stanfield, Curiel Jones should be a potent run producer top of the lineup. I'm curious how they're going to line it up, Dale. Because who you forgot there is Dickinson. And I think Dickinson's going to bat in the top third of the lineup, which I think would push Jones to the cleanup spot. We'll see. And I'm not so sure that Curiel bats at the top of the lineup. I'm not saying he doesn't. I really don't know. I haven't seen him play. But I would almost prefer to have that kind of power and ability at the bottom of the lineup, so you have a table setter when you turn your lineup over. And we'll see what Jay likes to do, and he may just cluster everything at the top of the lineup. But I mean, a bottom third that in some order includes, like, I mean, you've got Milam too. Like, do you bat Milam at the top, or like, I mean, Milam could certainly lead off for you. All that to say, man, I like having table setters in the bottom third of my lineup, so when I turn it over, my run producers have guys on base. Maybe the best example we saw of that was when Cole Freeman batted in the 9-hole in 2017. He was like the best 9-hole hitter anybody's ever seen, because you went Cole Kramer's like having back-to-back leadoff guys. So who are you going to DH and who's going to catch is another part of that too, because you may end up with boppers in the middle of your lineup. I mean, if it's whether it's Kate Arambidi or Blaze Priester or Luis Hernandez, any one of those guys that's catching, one unlikely DHing. I mean, those are big time power bats that you probably plant in the 5-6 hole in the middle of your lineup, sandwiched around Jones. So anyway, Jerry G, Greg Carter, Mr. Fatno, Irfan Sayad, Gamog, and Brian Penn. Good morning from Meridian, Mississippi. So again, Brian, the report today, just from this morning from me and Rappaport, is deal expected to be finalized today and announced tomorrow. Adam, hopefully hear news today. Again, Rappaport just minutes ago reported finalized today, announced tomorrow is likely we're going to see. Brett DeGrow, Chris P, good morning. Thomas, good morning. Jingle Gate. It's hard. See, I got a late start today. Hey, Joshua, good morning. You excited about who will be the Saints coaching staff? I want to see who, like, this is one, Brandon Staley is DC. So that's starting to be more widely reported now. Remember, Brandon Staley, of course, was the coach of the Chargers and had a good start to his time with the Chargers. But he's a guy that's been around. He's coached both college and pro. Started as a GA at Northern Illinois back in 2006. Was at St. Thomas in Minnesota. I actually know where that is. Then Hutchinson Community College as a DC. Then he went to Tennessee for 1 year as a GA. John Carroll, James Madison, back to John Carroll. Then to the Bears as outside linebackers coach. Then Broncos outside linebackers coach. Then became the DC of the Rams. Then became the head coach of the Chargers. So he had a pretty meteoric rise once he got into the NFL in 2017, and then became a head coach in 2021. And he was head coach of the Chargers for 3 years, and now he's the assistant head coach with the 49ers. But he was 24-24 in his 3 seasons in LA. It's odd because they were 9-8 his first year, 10-7 his second year, went to the playoffs. Then were 5-9 when he got fired, and it was just their inability to win close games, and a lot of it was head coaching decisions. So it's a thing where maybe you got a Dennis Allen situation on your hand, a really good defensive coach, just not a guy who's ready to be a head coach. Things like we need a dual threat quarterback for this new head coach's philosophy. Not really. I mean, Kellen Moore wasn't a dual threat quarterback. Don't get that twisted. When he played in college, he was a sling it around quarterback at Boise State. In his 3 NFL stops, he had Dak, who can run, but is certainly not a dual threat quarterback. He had Justin Herbert in LA with the Chargers, who's not a dual threat quarterback, and then he had Jalen Hurts. So I don't think that that's really true at all. Hey, Jerry, November 4th. What am I missing? Oh, when they fired him, yeah. Brian Wynn, Michael Cook, good morning. Brad David, morning. Wouldn't it be better for Kellen Moore to stay with the Eagles? Wait for a better job next year. Somebody's got to take the Saints job, man. And if you go through the interview process and they're going to double, triple your salary and be patient with you. I mean, sure. I'll remind you also that Kellen Moore wasn't exactly at the top of the coaching wish list this cycle. Ben Johnson was a year ago. He had the luxury a year ago to wait for another job. What's to say that there would have been a better opportunity next year for Kellen Moore? I mean, maybe that's what Joe Brady ultimately did. But again, would Kellen Moore have been the top choice in next year's cycle? I guess the reality is, like, anytime there's a coaching opening, it's like, I mean, there's a reason there's a coaching opening, right? Like, usually things ain't great. All right, I'll be right back.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com. Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered.
I didn't turn it off now. Sorry. I'm not going to make you listen to it twice, Dale. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. All right. Did you just put on your socks? I did. A cold plunge. I get dressed and I hurry in here. I had to hurry up and send the push notification, though. By the way, if you're on the 104.5 ESPN app, make sure you have push notifications turn on. So whenever we have news, we send push. So I had to send the push notification. That's why I was a few minutes late. Jerry, check down Carr. Labitha Wells, good morning. Tiger Poppy, what's good? Jeff, what up, my dude? Good morning, man. Chase, staying with the Eagles. That doesn't sound like he's staying with the Eagles, brother. Beauchamp Comer, get your paper bags ready, Saints fans. Okay. Chris Anthony, morning, man. Keep up the great work. Tell the Saints to take a page out of the Phillies book, draft SEC players, particularly Georgia players. I mean, all those Georgia dudes on defense or something. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly something to it. Well, Saints like them Ohio State players, don't they? Chris, sorry, just did that one. Leon, Matt, I know Loomis is getting killed for ex-Saints being on other winning teams. Don't we realize that team paid stars like Zach Bond, for example? He was not beating out Davis for inside linebacker. So here's my problem, Leon. You got to look at him individually. So number one, let's talk about Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson walked because your cap was a mess and you couldn't pay him. Okay, it's not that you didn't want to pay Trey Hendrickson, it's that you mismanaged your roster so poorly that you couldn't pay Trey Hendrickson. That's one. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You traded him away because he was a bad locker room guy, right? Sure think he would have helped the Saints secondary this year. And then Bond, you're right that the Saints had Bond playing outside. Eagles moved him inside. He becomes a defensive player of the year candidate, leads the NFL in tackles. And DeMario Davis was playing off ball. Well, DeMario Davis and Pete Werner were your guys right there. Well, if Zach Bond is a defensive player of the year, let me ask you a question. Who would you rather? Zach Bond or Pete Werner? Like, that's a pretty obvious answer to that question. Well, the Saints had the guy in the building, didn't recognize it. You recognized the talent, drafted him, but you didn't recognize the talent, develop, and put him on the field. So, morning, Matt. Call outs only today. Hey, Thomas, good Locked On, ready for baseball. Thank you, man. Y'all please check out Locked On LSU, however you get podcasts, or on YouTube. A pretty heavy baseball episode today. So please check that out. I greatly appreciate it. I know I've explained this to y'all before, but bears mentioning again that for Locked On, we don't get salaried for Locked On. The only way we get paid on Locked On is for downloads and views. So like we get paid like a CPM on, it's a revenue share on our downloads for podcasts and views on YouTube. So like literally I get paid when you all listen or watch. So I greatly appreciate everybody who's made Locked on LSU part of your daily routine, or have told people about it, or retweeted or shared Facebook posts or left comments, all that stuff. It really does sincerely help me a lot. So thank you. Rocky, good morning. I'm excited about Kellen Moore. However, I don't think we have a roster that he can win with currently constructed. Oh, I agree with that. Now, if healthy, like Derek Carr plays 17 games, Taysom Hill, Eric McCoy, your offensive line stays healthy, Kamara, everybody, Olave, Shaheed, all the injuries yet. If everybody's healthy, I think you'll hover around that 8-9, 9-8 mark. Now, can you stay healthy? Giant unknown. I still don't think you're close to being a contender. I'll maintain you've got to get younger and you got to get more affordable. Because right now you have the fourth oldest roster in the NFL, and your most expensive contracts are your oldest players. Derek Carr, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Taysom Hill. Was Ryan Ramchick? He's retiring. Tyron. Like, you need ideally your most expensive players to be your young stars who are just getting their second contracts. And that's just not the way New Orleans is constructed right now. Those Dork Neck bags. Dork Necks. Patrick Gumaugen. I think your take on donors and the collective allocating funds we'd use to buy out McMahon to the basketball NIL budget is reasonable. You say they intend to do that. I hope they do, so we bring a good product next year. I'll tell you, I had several conversations yesterday. The whole McMahon conversation, I think, finally struck a nerve. And so some people finally started talking. And it's kind of what I've said. Like, you just got to make a decision. Are you going to invest to be good in basketball? And what I was told yesterday in no uncertain terms is that they know they have to spend, and they're going to spend in basketball this coming year to give Matt McMahon's not getting fired. Like, it was, I don't want to speak in absolutes, because that's how you paint yourself into a corner and end up looking stupid and you end up getting memed. I pushed back a lot yesterday when I was told Matt McMahon will certainly be back for another year. And my point was, are we sure? Because, like, they're staring down the barrel of a 2-16 conference record. And they're going to lose their last 5 because they're playing 5 ranked teams, 5 of the regular season, and they're going to lose in the SEC tournament. So, like, it's going to keep getting worse. Like, it's going to keep getting worse. Like, they're not going to win. They might win one. Like, they play South Carolina at home. They could win that one. I mean, then you almost beat Ole Miss. I mean, maybe you steal one somewhere. But, like, it's going to get worse. So you're going to tell me that there's going to be enough appetite to continue to watch this team lose and go 2-18 and maintain and keep him? I was told yes. Okay. They keep him. The other part of that is they know. It was interesting. This is the parallel that was drawn, is what's happening right now in basketball mirrors what happened in football. Like, I'll tell you all this flatly. The LSU football team for 2024, the one that just won 8-4, LSU had about $5.5 million in NIL in that roster. So for context, Ole Miss, Ohio State were close to 20. Those schools spent about 4 times as much on their roster this year than you did. Auburn, my number that I've been told is $8 million on this basketball team. So Auburn spent more on this basketball team than LSU spent on its football team. Just for context, okay? I think that shook LSU's donor base into action, and you saw what happened. They were able to aggressively fundraise. People were like, okay, this isn't going to stand. LSU got their coffers full, got even more of a boost when you didn't have to pay Bryce Underwood and Jakeem Stewart, Cade Phillips, and they went ham in the portal. And now You go, okay, like LSU's got a loaded gun. They're ready to compete. My understanding is the same feeling is there with basketball right now. Like they're looking, going, okay, LSU put $2 million, just under $2 million, the collective, in this basketball team. Okay. When you've got the top of the league spending $7, $8, $9 million on their basketball rosters, and the middle of the league spending in the $5-6 million range, and you're at $2 million, it's no wonder why you are where you are. So if they go push north of $5 million next year for the basketball roster, what does that look like? I think that's what, in the same, let me say it to you this way. In the same way, when Underwood and Stewart and Phillips and all those guys, when you missed on all those guys right before signing day, and everybody melted. Y'all remember this? Everybody melted. And I was the one guy standing up going, talk to me in a month. Said it over and over. Talk to me in 1 month. Because I knew it was coming. They had bags of cash. The portal cycle was coming, and they were going ham. I knew that. Like, I knew they had bags of cash, and they were ready to spend in the portal. So let me see how this looks. And it went really well. What I'm telling you is I'm having the same conversations with people now about basketball. They got money to spend. They're ready to spend it. They're going to spend it in the portal. So let's see how it looks. Now, we're not going to know for a while, but like, let's see what that spring portal cycle looks like in basketball and what they're able to do, who they're able to bring in. Oh, it's 7:46. I got to go. All right, y'all. My apologies. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. As always, shout out to Brock and Parrish. Need North Peach, go to Brock. You need a roof, call Parrish. Unique Physique and Restored Motions, uniquephysique.com. Semaglutide, tirzepatide, the once-a-week injections for weight loss. It's those GLP-1 medications. Lowest prices, never any contracts. Do the whole thing over telemed, and they'll ship your medicine anywhere in the country. I'll check them out. My apologies. I got to go. You see, Bart said it would be a different team if Jalen Reed had not gotten injured. Bart, I just have a problem saying that because while Jalen Reed was a good player and was a veteran player returning, he's big. I mean, he's a 6'10", 240-pound junior. He averaged 7 points a game, man. Like, it's not like Jalen Reed was an All-American. You know, I mean, last year he averaged 7.9 points per game. So in 8 games this year, he was averaging 11. Okay. I mean, if you have Jalen Reed, do you scratch out another win or two? Probably. But you're not in a dramatically different spot than you are right now if you had Jalen Reed. Anyway, all right, I'm late. I really got to go. Thanks for watching. Please go check out Locked on LSU, AFR at 3. We'll see you. Peace.